Yeah. Okay, Tim, I guess we are good to start. Before we start, one line statement, then after that I'll start. I don't take much time here. So, team, please read my mails. Okay. I guess people are not reading the mails. It looks like. Okay. I request whenever I send an email, okay, try to read it. If any useful is there, try to apply them. Yeah, because people are not reading anything, simply they are pinging. So it will take some time for me to respond, right? After sending few details, still couple of people are asking, what is the ID and all, IP address and all. Okay, so right. Let's get into our content today without any further ado. Right. So yesterday I explained. So by the way, team, we have a session tomorrow and day after tomorrow. We have a sessions on the weekend for your information. Because you know this 14th I may not take session, and then after that somewhere in between also. So I want to compensate even this weekend. Okay. So same timings, same meeting details. Don't be panic. Same timings, same meeting details. If you are not able to join, please drop an email. I will send you the recorded video of the session. You can watch the video before you come to the next session and so on.
Both the Saturday and Sunday, Mr. Venkat?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. So yesterday we discussed about non-VSAM data sets, non-VSAM data sets and VSAM data sets like KSDS, ESDS, RRDS, and LDS. So PS file is a physical sequential file, or called as a flat file or sequential file. Then PDS, partitioned data set. So let me explain what exactly the PS and what exactly is a PDS. After that, I will get into how to create a file. So in PS file, usually we store end users data, like such as customers data or insurance transactions or ATM transactions or airlines transactions or retail, like more DMart or Tesco or Walmart. Okay, those transactions you can store. Transactions. So that is the main purpose of the PS file. Okay, so we don't use PS file mainly. Okay, most of the projects don't use to store the programs and so on. So PDS is the one where we use to write the programs, such as COBOL programs, COBOL or JCL, DB2, or copybooks, load libraries. I know you are new to this, all of them, some of them. Don't worry, we'll be getting into that. We write the programs such as COBOL program, JCL script, DB2 queries, copybooks, load libraries. We will keep in the partitioned data set. Okay, we'll keep in the partition data set. Partition data set. Okay. Now, okay, Venkat, you said differences between non-VSAM and VSAM. Okay, very good. But how to create a data set? Okay, so before that, you should know the rules, while rules for data set name. So while you're giving, like when you're creating a file name, notepad, there are some rules, right? You cannot write notepad file as your wish, right? There are some valid characters, there are invalid characters. So similarly, there are some rules in terms of data set name. So length of data set name is 44 characters. Length of data set name is 44 characters. So 1 to 44 means the length, maximum length. Okay. So valid and data set is divided into qualifiers. What is the qualifier? Okay. And what is qualifier and the roles of the qualifier? So what happens, team? I'll say like this. Data set name I'm giving like this. Venkat A dot AB TSO dot PS1. So it is invalid. It is a valid. So icons only just for your understanding. It is valid. How I am saying it is valid, right? So Venkat AJCD dot AB dot PS1. It is invalid. What is that? It is invalid. Why it is invalid? If you count it. So this is a qualifier 1, qualifier 2, qualifier 3. So in this data set name, okay, there are three qualifiers. There are three qualifiers. The first qualifier is Venkat A. What is the qualifier length here? V1 to 7. So qualifier length is 7. Second qualifier length is 3 characters. That is a TSO. Third qualifier length is 3 and total length is, so count it, 7 plus 3, 10, 10 plus 3, 13 and 2 dots are also included. So it will be a 15. So is it less than 44 characters? The maximum 44, but length is 15. So it is perfectly fine. The rule 1 is perfectly fine. Okay. So this is something about that. Now let me explain the other scenario. This is okay, invalid. The reason Venkat A J C D. Can you count it? How many characters of the qualifier? What is the qualifier length? What is the qualifier length?
10.
10. So the qualifier length cannot cross 8. So what is the rule? What is the rule now? Qualifier length is 1 to 8 characters. 1 to 8 characters. Okay, qualifier length is 1 to 8 characters. Next, this is the one. But what is the second qualifier? What is the second qualifier length?
3.
AB means 2 characters. Third qualifier 3 characters. So if you count total, here is a 10, 12, and 13. 15 is the length, 2 dots. So 17. The length is okay. Length is 17. It is perfectly fine. But it should satisfy the qualifier rules. Okay. So now by this time, you understood. Okay. So you cannot write letters, valid characters consecutively more than 8. So maximum consecutive valid characters you can write 8. That's why we have to divide into the qualifiers. The qualifier length is 1 to 8 and qualifier can start with a character that is A to Z, or we call in mainframe special character or national characters, or we call as them national characters. What are those national characters? @ hash $. So qualifier can start either A to Z or special characters. Okay. So qualifier can end with numbers 1 to 9 or qualifiers can end with the numbers 1 to 9 or 0 to 9, sorry. 0 to 9, A to Z and all. Okay. And each qualifier is separated by comma. So I will write here each qualifier is separated by dot, not a comma, sorry, by dot. So the qualifier rules or member name rules are same. The member name of PDS, the member name of the PDS and qualifier name rules are same. Is it clear?
Yes, Venkat.
Sir, can data set name start with a numeric value? It is possible.
Sorry, someone is talking. Your voice is low. If you are talking, you're asking a question.
So if data set name can start with a numeric value, any numeric
Sorry, Sasikala, can you speak louder? Team, you have to speak louder. I have a technical issue from my side. So, because when I'm listening, someone's voice is very clear. If I don't listen, your voice is not clear, or if you're talking far away, I may not answer your questions. Sasikala, go ahead. Today I will manage.
Now voice is audible.
Sorry.
Now my voice is audible, sir.
No, others, are you able to hear her properly?
Oh, Venkat. Here
Sorry?
we are asking.
Okay,
Low
yeah,
voice.
sure.
Okay, is it a problem from my side or your side? That is a question. And others, will you able to hear her? Because I cannot hear. I cannot say without. I want to check with you guys. Team.
Venkat, your voice is very clear. Her voice is little bit low.
Yeah. So can Sasikala, can you please look into your thing? Yeah, that's what. Please check and come back to me. Yeah. Or you can post your question in the chat window. I'm ready to answer. That is not a problem at all. But I need a clear, because without having a proper question clarity, if I answer something different, it will be difficult for others and for you as well as. Okay. Right. Okay. So I hope you are good with the qualifier rules. Yeah. And dataset name rules, right? Let's take an example. Can a dataset name starts with the number? No, you cannot start. I said, right? It should start with the character or special character. It cannot start with the number. It cannot start. That's already mentioned. It can end, but not start. So by seeing the rules of the dataset name, you have to tell what is the valid dataset name. Now I'll say, usually team who are new to mainframe, always, okay. First qualifier should be your mainframe ID. So guys, whoever using our server, always you should use first qualifier Venkat A or Venkat B or Venkat C or Venkat D or Venkat E, whichever ID I gave it to you, you should use the first qualifier always. It should be your mainframe ID. That is a rule you have to remember. Okay. Next. So I'll give like this. Can I write x dot y dot z? Is it a valid or invalid? Valid or invalid?
Valid.
Invalid.
Mainframe ID we need to start with.
It's not mandatory. It is a best practice. Okay. So there is a mandatory is different. Best practice is different.
It's valid.
It's a valid. Okay. So I want answers from everyone. Unmute yourself. Try to answer. So it's a valid, no doubt. What is the length of dataset name? What is the length of the dataset name?
5.
5.
So try to answer. Length of dataset name. Yes, you are right. 5. How many qualifiers are there?
3.
3.
Very good. So I know it is very simple, but you please keep answering. What are those qualifiers? What are the qualifiers?
X, Y, Z.
XYZ.
Yeah. So X, Y, Z. What is the first qualifier? High level qualifier. X. What is the
X.
low level qualifier? Low level qualifier would be the last qualifier. That is a Z. Low level qualifier is the last qualifier. That is a Z. Okay. So this is something one. So Venkat A dot B1413 dot B20 dot TSO. Is it a valid or invalid?
Valid.
Valid. Okay. Anyone says invalid? Okay. Keep silence means that is, if you're silent, that agreed as you're okay. Valid. Yes, it's a valid. What is the length of the data set name?
15.
I did not count. I'm just trusting and you're going proceed. If any deviation in the answer, please let me know. So how many qualifiers?
3.
What are those qualifiers?
Venkat A, B20, TS.
B20
TSO.
Venkat A dot 1 dot X dot Y dot Z dot A dot B dot Q dot R. Is it a valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Why it is invalid?
Because the second qualifier starts with number.
Second qualifier is starting with
Number.
number. Otherwise, it is perfectly fine.
Correct.
So, okay. And I'll give Venkat A dot test data. Okay. IP dot okay, insurance. Is it a valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Invalid.
Second qualifier is
Invalid.
more than 8.
Yeah, second qualifier is more than, second qualifier length is more than.
More
Is
than 8.
okay, any queries so far? Right, so far we discussed the theory. Let's look into practical part.
So Venkat, Shashikala asked one question. How many qualifiers we can use in data set name means until we reach the the max character limit, we can use number of, right? Any number of qualifiers, right? Like A dot B dot C dot like that until we reach the max.
Correct.
There is, yeah.
That is a way, but we do like this also. Okay, I will give you answer. So it's very good question as well. Okay, 8. Now I am satisfying all the condition. No, it should be 7 because it's starting with the character already. So now C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So assume that I am giving 7 only. My intention is not to give 8. I want to give qualifier. Now, if you give all the qualifiers full length, then maximum you can give 5 qualifiers. Minimum. Whatever you call. Okay. So, but if I give like this, A dot, B dot, C dot, E dot, F dot G dot. I guess it will be give 21. Okay, I guess it will be 21 or 22. It will be coming 22 or 21. If you give okay, one character for each qualifier, it will become 22 or 21, something like it will come. So I hope I answered. Right. Okay. Any other queries?
No, Venkat.
Okay, good. So now how we can create, correct? So I already connected to server. I last 3-4 days, I'm keep telling you how to connect to the server. If you did not watch last 4 videos, you please watch it. It is there in YouTube channel in the latest playlist. Okay. So next I'll do log on. Click on log on, enter. I will give Venkat A, which is I'm going to use this ID for the entire training. Venkat A, and I will enter the password. I'll enter the password, logged in. You can see on that first row what time you logged in, bottom you can see when now what is the time. So when you see ready keyword, you have to type ISPF. So if you want to do if you want to go to proceed further here, ISPF. If I want to do log off, log in, log off, I can do like this also. So I'll type ISPF. I logged in successfully. So if I want to create a data set, so we have to use utilities. What is that? So we have to use utilities. So 3 is the utilities. Okay. Perform utility functions. So we will look into some of the options later stage, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So or next week sometime. So when time permits. So I'll type 3. Okay. And hit the enter. Type 3 on command. Why? What is the 3 indicates? Utilities. Here is the one where we have an option to create a file. Okay. Enter. Next, what option you can use to create a data set?
2. Option 2.
Yeah, very good. Option 2. If I selected 2, I can allocate. Allocate is nothing but create. Then I can rename a file. I can delete a file. I'll talk about catalog and catalog later stage. And if I want to see the attributes of the existing file, I'll be using this one. So I'll type at this moment 2. If I selected 2, how I can see, do all of them? There might be a question. Once on command line, type 2, hit the enter button. So we are on dataset utility screen. So here you want to allocate. So type A here. Why I am typing A? Here you can see there is allocate. If I want to rename the file, type R. This is the one. So I'll type A. Okay. So once you provide A, what is the data set you want to create? You have to specify the data set name here, or first qualifier, second qualifier, third qualifier. Here also you can mention, but usually we will keep here. Most of the users will use this space to specify the data set name. So I will be using Venkat. Always data set name should be in a single quotes. If you don't give single quote, what happens? That also I will explain to you. Venkat A, and I will give B20. Okay, so I will give B20 dot, B20 dot, and I'll give TSO1, which is all are user defined. All are user defined. So now you can count how many characters are there in the data set, how many qualifiers are there, and also on. So enter. Now, here are the parameters which we are going to learn. Okay. So in fact, this volume serial I explained already. Okay. So volume serial is nothing but like there is a hard disk. Okay. So we have something called hard disk. That hard disk is 100 GB. Example, 100 GB. So I will allocate 10 GB for volume 1. Here the volume is JASYS1. It's a volume that is given by admin. I am giving V1 for our discussion. So I can give V2 volume 2 with a 40 GB. Okay, or 30 GB, 15 GB. And I will give this one 50 GB like this. So I will divide the space into multiple volumes so that it can be used, referred, and it can be cleaned, managed properly. It will become easy to do all of them. Managing, clearing, resourcing, and understanding what went wrong on which volume and all. For all the reasons, the volume is going to help. Now, volume serial. Who will give this volume serial? This is our headache to create? No. Admin will create a volume serial. They will provide you what is the volume serial you have to enter. Let's say you did not enter the volume serial, then maybe admin would have configured. If someone is creating, okay, if this user is creating a data set without specifying the volume serial, it will take the default volume. It will take the default volume. Is it clear?
Yes, Venkat.
Yes, Venkat.
Next. So next one, space units. Okay. What is space units? Okay. How much data you want to store in this file? I hope you got the question. How much data you want to store in this file? 1 GB data you want to store? You want to store 2 GB data? You want to store 3 GB data or 4 GB data? Okay, so we have to specify that part. Okay, so here those things will come into the picture. So example, when you're trying to buy a mobile, based on your need and your usage, based on that, you decide what is the storage capacity mobile you want. So you want 256 or 100 GB or 20 GB mobile, storage device based mobile. How much GB based mobile you want? Okay, how much data you want to store? Similarly, okay, when you're creating a file, space units, let's say I specified 1 KB. KB means kilobytes. So, and I specified the primary quantity and I specified the secondary quantity. So for our easy discussion, so the total, the space, physical space, okay, storage space, basically, total storage space in a file Okay, total space you are allocating 1 KB, that is a primary quantity plus secondary quantity 1 KB. So 1 KB, nothing but 2 KB. So if you take a calculator, what is the 2 KB team? How many bytes 2 KB is equivalent to? 2048. 1 KB is equivalent to 1024, right? So into 2. So 204 bytes you can store it. If you are trying to store beyond this 2048, we will get space abend. What we will get? It's after certain time, you will get the space abend. When there is no proper space in the file, we will get an error called space abend. Okay, fine. Okay, Venkat, I created with the 2 KB. Can I increase the space of the file? No, that is not possible at all. Okay, that is not possible. Once you create a file with some certain space, you cannot increase or decrease. The file physical sequential file attributes cannot be changed once you create. It is not only on our server, on any mainframe system. It is not allowed. Okay. So now I can store 2048 characters space. Okay. In 2000 characters space or bytes, I can store in this file. So what how I can specify kilobytes? There is a KB. So based on you can decide either in the cylinders. I'll tell you about cylinders tomorrow. MB, I guess 1024 KB is equivalent to 1 MB. Bytes already you know. This is all about kilobytes. So if I give 1 KB. If I give a 2, it is a 2 KB. If I give a 3 here, 2 plus 3, 5. 5 KB you are allocating. First, it will take the space from the primary quantity. Once the primary quantity space is utilized, then it will go to the secondary quantity. Is it clear? I hope you're clear with the
Yes.
Venkat, the space units all is admin will create the spaces or we create by our own?
we create generally the actual physical files according to the client requirement. We'll try to create it.
Okay.
Okay, right. So next, for time being, team, I don't want to explain directory block, but only one thumb rule is if you are creating a sequential file, if you are creating a PS file, always directory blocks should be 0. So 0 indicates, okay. So 0 indicates it is PS file. It is PS file. You can see in fact here also right side. So 0 for sequential data set. So you have to, if you specify 0, that indicates that you are creating a sequential file. If you specify 1, you can create a members. How many members? You can create a 5 members. If you mention a 2, you can create 11 members. If you mention 3, 17 members. How it is you are calculating, if you ask, we will discuss that later stage. So I'll make it 0 at this moment. On record format, we have multiple record formats, but today I don't explain record formats. Fixed is there, fixed block is there, variable is there, variable block is there, and uh, there is other formats. VBA something also is there. Okay, so there are different record formats are there. Fixed block, variable block, and all. So I'll give a B. You also give the same. Later stage we'll discuss. And now you said 2480. But in each row, how many characters you want to store? That is the question mark. In each row, how many bytes you want to store? How many bytes you want to store? You got it? So this is as per the requirement. This is as per the requirement. So example, if I want to store every customer details, customer number, customer number, their transaction amount, customer number, customer transaction ID, customer transaction amount. So the length would be 558. So if I want to store one customer record row, so 5 plus 10 plus 8, 18 bytes is required for me for each record. Each record or row is the same. Like in a table, okay, we have a Excel, right? In a rows will be there. That is the one.
Sir, how you calculated that 18 byte for each record row?
This is just is our example, okay? It's example. If I take a phone number, according to the Indian, what is the phone number length? What is
10,
the mobile phone
10
number?
digit.
10,
10
right? So
characters
yeah, so how you would said 10? That is how it is designed, right? So
is
you
designed.
can give 20, you give 30. Okay, if you go to the bank, let's take a bank example. In a bank, what is the account number? What is the
11.
maximum of your bank where you are having bank account? Maybe 10, less than 10, right? Account number. There is a length. So according to this is altogether, we will get it from the client only. Okay. In each row, what type of the data should be there in the file? So that is going to provided by admin only. Sorry, client, that we don't decide the length because that is their requirement, right? So in one bank, customer ID is 6 characters. In another bank, 10. Their data types are different. So it's going to differ the bank to bank or application to application. So I hope I answered your question.
Sir.
Any other queries? So now, so I will go here. I can specify according to that 18. Then always that is a record length. Record length means in each record, how many characters should be there? In each record, how many characters are there? Next, the block size. What is that? We have something called block size. So in block size is multiple of record length. So it should be 18. Is a multiple, yes or no? 36. Okay. 18 into 3. Whatever the value it comes, you can write here. 18 into 4. Like I can give 18 into 10. So multiple of record length. So that is called block size. Means in each block, okay, what is the meaning of block size? There is a block. In each block, how many records you want to store? Okay, so let's take an example. If I give 36, nothing but in a block, you're going to store 2 records only. But if I give 180 in the block, you can decide as per your choice, 10 records, because 180 divided by 18. So the value what you get, those many records will be there in the block and for reading and writing process. Okay, any
Each
other
block,
queries?
each block, how much data can contain?
each block. Now you can calculate now. 1 byte, 18 bytes, 180 bytes. According to this formula, 18
Okay.
into 180 bytes.
Okay. Record length. Okay.
Venkat, record length maximize what we get, like we get append.
There is something called SC37, SB37, SD37. SB, okay, saving bank, state bank, okay, like that. SC, software engineering, SC stands. Not actually, that's not a stands, but it's just abbreviation I'm giving for you. Is okay. SD, software developer, SD. Okay, so we get events, space events for everything, for for SC37 will come for one reason. SD37 will come another reason. SB37 will come another reason. So every exception will come for one reason. Okay, right. So this is something about, and data set name should be blank. What is that? Data set name should be blank. So hit the enter, the data set allocated. So you can see the top right side, you can see a message data set allocated. So this is how you will create a file. This is how you will create a sequential file. The same way we create a PDS, but partition data set. I'll talk about that anyhow later. So I'll press F3. I'll press F3 and I'm on ISPF primary option menu. I'll pause for 1 minute. Any queries do you have?
So those options which came while creating the PS file, you will explain that later, right?
Which one, madam?
So like you said, when the directory is one, 5 members
Yeah,
will
that
be
I'll explain
created.
directly. Yeah, directly block I'll explain. So next, so okay, fine. The file is got created where I can see what I can do, where it is there. Again, 3 on command line, hit the enter. And now we have to type 4. What is that? So we have a 4. So type 4, hit the enter button. So here you can type the data set name. So if you know the fully qualified data set name, I guess Venkat A, if you know enter data set name 20.TSO1, enter. If you know fully data set name, fully qualified data set name, you write it like that or press F3, going back. If you don't know whether it is a last qualifier, just to give star. So means the data sets which are starting with Venkat A as a 5-level qualifier and B20 as a second qualifier. And hit the enter, you can see it. As of now, there is only one with that combination we got accordingly.
Venkat, so since you assign Venkat A, B, C, D to 5 to 6 members, so if other people they create using the same login, can I see the whatever data set they created in the screen?
Yeah, that again, okay. Basically Venkat B, right? Let's say someone using Venkat B, they created. So whether seeing their data sets and accessing them is depends on the access level. Okay. If they want to restrict you might see, but you may not able to access, or they may not allow you to access or see them. So it depends on the how the access level is configured in your system by the admin. Okay. But whereas here I can go there, not a problem. I can go Venkat B dot star means the data sets which are starting with Venkat B and doesn't matter what is second and third qualifiers and so on. You can see that lot of data sets are there. Total 57 data sets are existing with this pattern and we are seeing them. I hope you got the answer.
Yes.
I'll press F3 to go back to the previous screen. And yeah, any queries? I'll go again here. Venkat A, TSO dot B19, right? By the way, B19 dot T star, or just 20, B20. So, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it takes some time for me to get this number because, 10 days back I completed batch 19. So now I added you as a batch 20. So I name your batch as a B20. Fine. This is how you can see. This is the data set list screen. And these are all the data sets are only one is there, by the way, but matching. So I will give here, this is called line command. If you type anything called command line, which we already discussed about it. So command line. And if you type anything against the data set name, here is called line command. So I will type I means information, type I, hit the enter button. You can see it. So whatever the file we created, all you can see attributes. These are all called parameters. Whatever I highlighted now, we call them parameters. It's very, very important, guys. Even in the JCL also, here we are not writing the code. In JCL, we write the code. But the parameters which are going to refer the same. In JCL also, I'm going to refer the same parameters. Parameters are not going to change. Okay. So what you can type I means information. To see the existing file attributes details, what details you given, someone given while creating. So type I, hit the enter button. You can see the attributes. And I'll press F3 and you can type yes. Yes means show information. So I will write it in the line command. I means information, S means show information. So type yes, hit the enter.
So what is the difference between S and I? Both are giving the same result.
Yeah. There is a difference. Once I create a partition data set, I 100% I will tell you. Okay. Because that is the way you get the difference. For PS file, more or less same only. So I'll press F3. Same, you saw I and yes. I'll talk about R. R means rename. So if you want to rename the existing file, you don't like it or it is wrongly given the wrong name, you can rename the file or type R, enter. So this is the rename panel and this is the data set on this volume. I'll change it to May 9 V1. So you cannot give two dots continuously. enter. So on the command line, here you can write REF, refresh. So on the command line, you type REF, that is refresh. Okay. So if I don't know what are the, I said ISR, but what else is there? You can type enter slash to select action. You can type slash to know what are the options. So this many you can type against this file. Not all of them, but most of them you can, because it's not a PDS to see the 4, right? And we have to discuss other options that also I'll explain later stage. Okay, so edit, view, browse, delete, rename, info, just three I explained to you. And I'll press F3 to go back, or I want to rename again. You type 6 here, type 6 and hit the enter. So anyhow, I'm not renaming. So here you can come and rename it. So I'll press F3. This is how you can rename the file. How do you delete it, by the way? So just type DEL or D and enter. So it is asking confirmation. Do you want to delete? Yes, no doubt. I'll click on enter button. So that file got deleted. So if you want to create with the same name, you can create it. So very, very important, with the same file name on the server, file should not exist. So mean duplicate dataset name is not allowed. Duplicate dataset name is not allowed on the mainframe system. Any queries? So I'll press F3 to go back to the previous screen. Press F3 and so now we'll try to create a sequential file to keep 400 or 9,000 to store 9,000 or 90,000 bytes data. 90,000 bytes data. I want to store that many characters in that file. In that file, I want to store the records like employee number, the length I'm giving as a 5, employee name, I'm giving length as a 20, employee address, like I'm giving as a 50, 30, employee salary, I'm giving as 8. So what is the record length, by the way? What is the record length? So 20 plus 30, 50, 63. So our record length is 63. So if I give 90,000 bytes, 90,000 bytes, how many records I can store? Just you can calculate like this. 90,000 bytes divided by 63. So I can store approximately, okay, I can store approximately 1,425 records. If I go with this combination, total space I allocated 90,000 bytes, 90,000 bytes, and each record length is 63. If that is the case, I can insert 1,425 records, I can store it. Okay, any queries?
కొత్తగా ఆర్మీలో జాయిన్ అయ్యారు కాబట్టి
So, Venkat, if we want to add another column in the file, so how can
Yeah.
we divide those?
Can you speak louder? I understood partially that if I want to add another column,
If we want another add column in the middle, like if we want to add
you can, that's
EID.
what, see, in earlier example, I kept only 3 columns. This time I changed the entire pattern. It's all about how you want. Okay. Okay. How many, what is the record length? If you take your bank application form, in the bank application form, you will fill your date of birth, email ID, gender, phone number, address, right? And the PAN card number, Aadhaar card number, the number of fields are going to be different, correct?
Yeah, but if we going on and adding another column and all, the record length, the number of records will decrease according to the byte
Obviously,
size, right?
100%, you are right.
Okay. So if we want to add 1500 records, and if we want to add another column, so can
Increase
we
the
increase
space.
the byte size?
Yeah. See, the space you can decide as per the requirement. Just I given as an example. Okay, just I'm given this pattern, but how much
Mhm.
space you want to allocate, you can allocate the space, no problem. Because space is the constraint, then why we need a mainframe? Because I can able to store, because in real time the data keep coming. ATM transactions keep coming daily
Yes,
basis. Correct.
yeah, that was my doubt. So if we can change our byte size whenever we want.
No. See, while you are creating, you specify how much you want. But after creating the file, if you want to change it, that is not possible. Okay. So you need to understand two things. Okay, I say I did not create, that's why I said you can do it. There are two things. Before creating, you decide how much you want finally. Once the file is created, nothing can be done by you. Even admin also cannot change the record length. Okay. So no, it
Okay,
is in mainframe itself is not allowed. So you have to decide everything in well in advance, what is the right one.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, later you have to do backup concepts and all. Okay, right. So by considering this, how we can do it? Okay, let's go there. So 3 utilities, 2 allocate, A allocate. So I'll give Venkat A dot B20 dot file 1. Sorry, uh, file 1. Enter. So here, if I give MB, I'll give a MB. So 90,000 bytes. If I want to convert into bytes to megabytes, 90,000 divided by megabytes, right? So
1024.
1024 is a KB, right?
So we need to convert MB, right?
Now we convert it into the kilobytes. You got my point? We'll go with the kilobytes. So if I give a kilobytes, so if I convert 90,000 into kilobytes, how much approximately going to come? 87. So it's going to come 90. Primary quantity 90 into 1024. You have to calculate it. It's primary secondary quantity directory block 0, record format fixed block, and we decided to keep 63 record length. So even fixed block, record length can be thousands also, not a problem. Depends on their requirement. 630 F8, keep it a blank and hit the enter. The file got created.
Do we have an expiry date for a data set?
Yeah, it can be done. Okay, if you press F8, you can see there is a okay, I guess so let me show you that. You have to create, while creating itself, you have to specify the F8 expiration date. You can mention that.
Which is optional, right?
Yeah, obviously it is optional, no doubt.
Option means, is there any default date it will take, or it will never expire that file?
Okay, if that is a doubt, let me show you directly on the server. So you see that creation date is there, none, expiration date, none.
It means it is for error forever.
It is will be there forever, I guess. Yeah. Any queries? Okay. Yeah. That's all for today, team. So please attend tomorrow's session. Chalo, team. Bye for today.